Good morning, Brian with Grand Roofing. In this video, we're going to talk about tarps. Why you would want to tarp something, some tips and tricks on what to do, what not to do, what to avoid, and if you do it wrong, the problems you could cause by doing it wrong. So, a little bit of a backstory. I get a call to come look at a leak or something, needing to figure a repair, meet the homeowner here. She indicates to me that another contractor unrelated to the roof was doing something for her, noticed there was some staining in the ceiling, and he's like, oh, I'll go tarp it. So, first off, you want to figure out what you're tarping. If it's storm damage, yes, tarp it. Get some photos beforehand too, so you don't need to yank it up to show your insurance guy if you file a claim. And I'll go in through some techniques and tips and things to avoid with that. But why? First off, what's the problem? What's it doing? It's leaking. I get out here, I see this tarp, and it's like protruding up like a little minefield under it. I'm like, okay, well, why is it all stuck up like that? That's interesting right there, right off the bat. I was told it was shingle damage. I don't see any shingle damage. We're gonna go peek up under this edge here and then see why, in my opinion, this has just caused way more damage than was necessary, just absolutely doing nothing and making it worse. So switch camera around. We'll see what we can see what we can learn. On the way in, if you could give it a thumbs up. Okay, so peeking up under here, and this has posed multiple problems now. The homeowner actually has some utility issues inside going on now, and this could be contributing these based on the time of the year, because of what these pipes are. Looking up under here, I'm expecting obvious shingle damage or something, storm damage. And if you look down below, no shingles missing. Look up above, no shingles missing. I do see that rubber gasket on the pipe though is peeled back, and more than likely that's the issue on what the water's coming in from. So you got two here, got a third one down yonder, all PVC, high efficient, or vent pipes. They could be soil vent pipes. Typically a turn down like that is not the case. That one appears to be a hot water heater. It turned on a minute ago off camera. I could smell it. It's dumping a bunch of fumes up under here, and it's pretty well trapped. With having no shingle damage, simple solution should have been to put a rubber gasket over that, not this unnecessary big tarp. And we'll go through, and I'll show you a simple solution, a remedy to those seal gaskets. Let's talk about tarping practice, what not to do. So if you noticed, we haven't had rain for 2 days, and it's still wet up under here. Down below, there's a wet spot where water's trickling out. Say you got a shingle damage right here, a hole, whatever the case, you got water coming in here. It does not need to tarp the entire section. I'll talk about that in a minute too. Just simply split apart a section of shingle, take your tarp, small tarp, bigger than the section, not huge, just a little bigger than your damage. Shove it under the shingle, just big enough to cover your damage. Tack it off. That's it. It's not a repair, it's to buy some time, it's emergency tarp. You want the water to flow from above onto your tarp substance, whether it's synthetic paper, black paper, piece of, I don't care, aluminum, coil stock, whatever. And you want to flow off of that onto your roof eventually working its way down. What they did here is just simply face nailed with some 16s and a 2x4. 2x4 sometimes are needed to wrap up the tarp to pin it down if it's going to be there, especially if it's over a bigger section. Tip with that, don't put it horizontally because water is just trapping here. Some of it's pinning down and seeping through, some of it's not pinning down, some of it's running off the sides. Slant it somewhat so the water can flow out and off. Slant a little bit, but not good. But he's got a ton of 16s penetrating through this. So you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16s in this 2x4 alone, pinning down through, which now you got shingles damaged here. That's more stuff that needs fixed. Wasn't necessary. The other one down here, we'll look at that too. But again, the pipes, when you've got a tarp that's like completely covering this pipe right here like that, that's restricting air in and out. These hot water heater and furnace, if this furnace were turning on because it was a little more towards the colder season, it would restrict the air going in. It would put bad pressures on your inducers and things like that. The furnace stuff, I'm not an HVAC guy, but just trust me, it wouldn't be good. It would probably start up, go through its testing, and then trip out and go and cycle and then eventually go into lockout or something. Not good, bad idea. Whoever did this should have known better. It's just some common sense. Going down a little bit lower. Looking at this 2x4 here. Nail, 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 nail. More shingle damage, not necessary. See the water that's still seeping through here after 2 days? That means water's getting in from above. It's not doing a bit of good. The damage wasn't even caused from the roof. Any of the water running down this would have been better not having this tarp here, because it's just simply the gasket, and I'll go through and show you that too. I've got some on my ladder we're going to do here real quick. See, yeah, right behind my hand there. The other thing with the board here, When you have a valley come together like this, the shingles may not be pushed all the way down. It's a tip. If you're walking up a roof, straddle the roof like this. You can stand a little closer if you need. Just don't ever walk right up the center of the shingles in the middle of the valley. Don't put your weight there. Reason being is if your decking is not perfectly together and your shingles aren't completely pushed down into there, when you walk up this after the fact, after they're old and brittle especially, you can simply crack and pop those shingles by your body weight pushing down into that little void. You may not even know you did it until you have a little bit of a rain, and then you got a massive section of water just flowing right into a Niagara Falls you just created. So tip, don't walk up the middle of your valley. Same thing with a board like this. Absolutely no need to ram this 2x4 into the valley right here like he did and put a nail in it. So to replace this now, if you're going to do repair, what should have been done with like 5 minutes of putting 3 gaskets over this, now you got damaged shingles up the bottom here, across the top, you got down the side here, you got staples in it. All these need to come out and be replaced now. The valley here, to get these replaced, it's the underlying side of a close cut valley. You got a flat bar out this side of the valley to get these shingles loose and out to replace this, unless you're one of those guys that say, oh, I can repair that for you, good as new. And they simply yank this up and they shove a piece of flashing under it or caulk it, you know, roofing in a tube, 1350. Just not good. This all should have been avoided. See if we can get a better look at this other side here and this little bitty peaky cubby hole. So you can see this one. See that gasket? Again, that's just that little bit. It's not terrible. It's cracking, yes, but there's no need for the tarp. A simple common sense or a little bit of common sense could go a long way. Anyone should have been able to say, no obvious damage. There's pipes there. Okay, hey, typically what goes bad is the rubber seal. Let's just shove a little seal over it. $5 or so. I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon where you can find them. Click on the link, you get to see what it is. No obligation to buy it. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. You're not going to find these at your home box stores, Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. I've not been able to years past. You'd have to go to your roofing supply houses or Amazon. So I'll leave a link in the description so I can show you that. Show what we got here. By the way, she does have some issues with the hot water heater and stuff. And I don't know if it's pulling static air from in the mechanical room or if one of those pipes is pulling air to it. I don't know. Nevertheless, I'm pretty confident that's what those pipes go to. One exhaust, probably static air for the hot water possibly. Then you got your furnace pulling static air from outside and your exhaust blowing out. By the way, when you got a turn down pipe like this one here you saw, most of the time if you can't get these simply shoved over them, sometimes the radius is so tight getting your pipe boots when you're doing a replacement can't fit on there. Just shake that and come off. They're not always glued. Shove your new one on, put that back on. Don't mix them up. It does need to cover typically your inlet. Your exhaust is fine. Rainwater can go right in that pipe and trickle out through a little P-trap type thing. So if your vent pipe turned down is glued, simple solution, if you know you got a problem, find a solution. That's my motto. Cut the pipe, Sawzall, right below that, that's glued. When you're done putting your new boot on, all you gotta do is twist it 180 degrees so what was where the air came in, it's not got anything in it, shove it right back down, good to go. And if it's bad and broken, compromised, then go to the store and buy a replacement for it. Super easy, but you do need to make sure typically the inlets, the air in is what you need to turn down. If you're unsure, contact HVAC company to do that. Not some guy that doesn't know what he's doing this stuff. I don't know if I said, maybe I did. This is actually just trapping way more water than needed. So what I'm gonna do while I'm here is I got my knife with me. I'm gonna cut this tarp away and remove this so these vents can function, because she does have mechanical trouble now. Stuff's not working like it should. Whether it's related or not, you don't want your pipes blocked like that and trapping air. Let's just say that if it was a hot water heater issue and it is bringing in air from right up here, now you're dumping monoxide and exhaust fumes in here, and if it's not able to vent enough, you're probably sucking part of that right back in, and that could possibly be the issue. I don't know, I'm just a roofer. But I don't want to leave this. I want to simply address by shoving these over it, and I don't want to yank these because then it's going to leave all these holes and penetrations there. So what my plan is today is to cut this back, remove the tarp, cut it from down here, leave the 2 boards for now, put the gaskets, these pipe seal covers over it, see the amount of damage, see if the shingle's going to split apart, prepare an estimate for replacement of this. Pause, read comments, I'm going to get it. Brian, there's hail damage. Brian, there's wind damage. File a claim. I've already talked to the homeowner about these issues and things. The roof is old roof. Insurance is not intended to just do regular general maintenance on things that wear out. Like this roof is aging, but it's not got the damage. And I know some of you are gonna pause. Brian, back up, timestamp, hail damage. Not the case. That's not what I'm here for. Tarp, that's what we're talking about in this video. Tarping. Somebody did this, made a mess of it. Should have never been done. So, I got some work to do. We're long into the video. Link in the description to these down below. Find them on Amazon. You might be able to find them at your home stores. I don't know, your roofing supply houses. Give it a thumbs up on the way out if you could. Until next time, be safe. I appreciate you watching. And until next time, we'll see you then.